What's up everyone? In today's video, we'll be going over the best settings for controller players in Apex Legends Season 8. Before the video starts, if you guys like this type of content, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell to get notified whenever I release a new video. Enough said, let's get into the video.
So let's start with the gameplay tag. The first setting you see is interact prompt style. So basically what this means is, let's say I have it on default. When I go over here, you can see it says red evo shield. If I go to charge rifle, it says charge rifle. If I turn it off, however, look, it just turns like this. So this is basically whatever you prefer. If you don't really know the game well, I would recommend having this on because you don't really know the icons for hop up, stuff like that. So you want to know what those are. I have it on default because I just think it looks nicer like this, and it's just really what I'm used to. The second thing we have is button hints. I also have this on. It's also preference based. What this is, as you can see on the bottom of the screen, like below my portal button, it says L1 plus R1. So it basically tells you what button to hit. So L1 for the phase, and it says what arrows to hit for all of the grenades and shields and stuff like that. So I'll just show you guys what it looks like when you have it off. I mean, it's basically just the same thing but without them. Again, I'll recommend that you guys should only turn it off if you know what your buttons are exactly. So next we have crosshair damage feedback. You should definitely have this with X with shield and icon. What crosshair damage feedback is it displays a crosshair when you hit someone. So if you have it off, it doesn't show anything. I mean, I don't really know what the difference is between X and X with shield icon. I tried to figure it out, but I couldn't really. But apparently there's a difference, but I just recommend having this one on, so I'll show you the difference. If I shoot this guy, you can see there's this little X that pops up when I hit him. If I turn that off, there's nothing really. So again, I guess it's preference based, but it kind of helps to aim when you have it on. The next thing is damage numbers. So if you don't have this on stacking, I don't know what you're doing with your life. So what this means is when you're shooting at someone, you see how the damage number stacks up. So there I did 126, I did 42 there. If you have it off, you can't see how much damage you're doing to the players. It basically makes your life easier. Like, you don't want to be shooting at someone and have to calculate how much damage you did, because in a real game you won't be able to see his health bar. And you can also put this on floating, which is, I mean, I guess a bit better than having it off. But yeah, that's what it does. You basically, I mean, it just like the singular hits, and then you still have to add it up. And you can also have it stacking and floating, but then I feel like it just takes up a lot of your screen. So just put it on stacking, just trust me, and put it on stacking. Next we have ping opacity. So with this, I recommend having it on faded. It basically means when you ping, it's less noticeable in the firing range, but in a game it's actually pretty noticeable. The ping will be like half faded, so let's say I turn it off,
Let's explore this way.
you can fully see it, but if I turn it off, you can like half see it. And what this helps with is if I'm pinning an enemy, this may block what you're trying to see. So if it's faded, you'll see the player more clearly. Next we have obituaries. I have this on. Next we have mini-map rotation. If you have it on, whatever way you turn to, it will face north. So if your player is facing left, but the map is like north there, your player arrow will be pointing towards the left. So I'd rather just have it on off, where the mini-map rotates wherever you're facing. It's just better for map awareness and stuff like that. Next we have weapon auto cycle on empty. I recommend having this off. Let me show you guys why I don't like having this on. So basically, if you don't have any ammo left, when you finish your clip, it'll automatically switch to your other gun. But like for me, I really like having control of my weapons, so I'd rather have this off. And let me show you guys that. So okay, so when you have it off, if you finish your clip and you don't have any ammo left, it won't cycle. I just like it to have more control. Next, we have auto sprint. Auto sprint, you definitely want to have on. It makes your life easier. Next, we have double tap sprint. So double tap sprint you want off because instead of the auto sprint thing, you would have to press twice to sprint. So again, I wouldn't recommend having that off for basically the same reasons as the last thing. Okay, so the next thing is incoming damage feedback. I have that on 3D. It's kind of an arrow, but if you have it on 2D, it's like a more like a half circle. So yeah, I mean it's personal preference, but most people play on 3D. Next, this one is an important one, and you have to have off if you want to be good. So it's taking damage closest death box or crafting menu. If you want to be able to shield swap, which is when you run out of shield in a fight, you go to a death box and you take another one. It's really useful to win fights. If you have this on, when you get shot, if you're in a death box, it'll automatically take you out of the death box. So that will kind of stop you from shield swapping. If you're a beginner player, maybe try to keep it on because you don't really have the reaction time to get out of the death box when you're getting shot. But if you're a more advanced player, definitely have this off because you want to be able to shield swap, and most of the time you'll be getting shot at if you shield swap. Okay, so next is the hop up pop up. I have this on. I haven't really played around with this. This is another personal preference thing, but it's when you pick up a hop up. You see in the bottom right corner, every time I switch to my R301, it says what the hop up does. It doesn't really make a big difference to your gameplay. If you want to have it on, go for it. If you want to have it off, go for it. Next, we have all the streamer stuff. I haven't started streaming yet, but I might soon. If you're a streamer, I mean, there's probably another video out there that can help you with this kind of stuff. And I don't really know too much about this stuff, but it basically makes you anonymous and helps to not have stream snipers. Same thing with anonymous mode. And all of these things, user sharing, performance display, enabled and off. This is basically, it doesn't affect the game in any way, I'm pretty sure. It's just stuff for like EA or Respawn. Next we have club invites. If you want to join someone's club and they invite you, have this on. Next, so this one is one of the biggest ones. You might notice that my game looks a bit different than yours if you haven't really played around with settings. So this is because I used a colorblind mode. There's not a huge difference, like it's basically just a brighter version of the game. Not this one. You can see the shields are brighter, but the biggest thing is that the crosshair becomes yellow. So let's say you're aiming into a dark place, like here. It's super visible, right? Let's just turn it back to default. It's less visible. But this place is not the biggest example. If you're like in a really dark spot, it actually makes a really big difference. If you're in a game and you want to see what legends are saying, which I think can be really annoying probably, turn this on, and these don't affect gameplay, so I have both of these off. So this is probably the most important part of the video. Button layout. I have a button puncher on, which the difference between default and button puncher is basically you just switch the melee, which is normally the right stick, to circle, or I don't know what it is on Xbox, but the right button on the right side. And basically what this helps with is if you have this on, you can crouch spam. well, you can crouch spam way easier. If you have it off, if you have the normal stuff, where crouch is on circle, you notice that you can't crouch at the same time as you move the right stick. So you can't aim at the same time, like change where you're aiming at the same time as you're crouching. But if you have button puncher on, you can still change like where you're looking. So yeah, it just helps with crouch spamming, and it makes you way harder to hit. Okay, next we have stick layout. So I mean, if you're in, I think you'd be crazy to go southpaw. Oh my good, I've never looked at these. These seem like just absolute pain. Definitely keep this on default. Interact and reload. Have this on the third one. Next we have the crouch button. I've heard that if you have it on hold, you can get even better at crouch spamming. Like, as you can see, like, this is crazy. This is absolutely insane. But the downfall with having it on hold is, and with the right stick crouch, is you can't jump. Like, you have to hold when you're sliding, which I think absolutely sucks. And also, you can't jump out of a slide because you need to change your, you need to use your thumb to press the jump button. But I think if you have this on default, then you can probably press the slide at the same time as the jump button. I think it's just better to have this on toggle. You can still crouch spam fine. Next, we have the aim button. If you're using this on toggle, man, I don't know, man. This definitely just use hold. It's just better. Then we have the survival slot button. I think this is new with like the heat shield and the mobile respawn added. If you have this off, you'll only be able to access those things from your inventory, which kind of sucks in my opinion. If you have it on, obviously you can see at the bottom of the screen there's that little slot next to the grenades. You can use that instead. Now we're more in our first dead zone setting. Have this on none. The menu cursor speed, what I would recommend with this, so this for controller players, normally if you have this low, we have a disadvantage to PC players, where if you're in a death box, it might take a really long time to go all the way down. Like, if I have this on low, you guys can see in the menu. Look how slow this is moving. This is at max speed. But if you put it too high, it's like not really controllable for me. So what I would recommend is probably around here, maybe a bit higher than that. But really play around with it, and what I would recommend is having it as high as you can, to the point where it's still controllable for you. Next, we have the look sensitivity. I would also recommend playing around with these. I have 5 for the look sensitivity and 3 for the aim down sights. So look sensitivity, it is just going like this, and the aim down sights is when you're going like this. And for us console players, a big part of it is being able to absolutely beam people, because we have aim assist. So having 3 on the ADS for me is basically like perfect, because you can absolutely beam people. I think 3 is the best one, and 5, I mean 4 for me, it's like too slow. You have to move it too much to go places. And 5 is perfect for me. But I'd recommend the highest you go for this to be 6. 7 is just too high. And the lowest you should go is 4 for look sensitivity. The minimum you should go is 3, which I think is the best. And you can go 4, but 5 is too fast. You won't be able to control your aim well. Yeah, I recommend 5 and 3, but anywhere that's in between 6 and 4 for the look sensitivity, and 3 and 4 I think can work well, so just play around with that. Then we have the per optic sensitivity. What this is you have the normal stuff, but then if you turn this on here, you can see all of these different sensitivities. So it's basically with the different scopes, how fast it will go. So I have 3 for 1 times, 4 for 2 times, 4 for 3 times, 4 for 4 times, 5 for 6 times, 5 for 8 times, and 5 for 10 times. All around they'll probably feel around the same even though they're different, but it's because 3 will feel a lot faster on a 1 times than it will on a 10 times. It'll feel really slow on a 10 times because it's just a bigger scope. Next, we have the response curve. I looked at this setting earlier, and if you have the next one on none, and you have this on linear, I'm not touching the controller, this is what happens. So, yeah. You definitely want to have this on classic. Next, we have look dead zone. So I recommend putting this on small because it reduces stick drift. So as you can see, my crosshair is moving a tiny bit right now, which is because of my right stick controller drift. But if I put this on small, it won't move anymore. Movement dead zone, put it on small. Inverted look. Oh, this, I know one person that plays on inverted, and it's the crypto voice actor. Definitely have this on off. Vibration, you want it on off, because if you have it on, when you're shooting at someone, the control will vibrate and kind of mess you up. So yeah, have this on off. Field of view, have it on 110, because I don't know what the default is. Wait. Yeah, okay, so the default is actually 70. That's insane. Look at, I haven't played on this in so long, but I mean, for the beginner players, it might feel normal. I recommend having it all the way up or at 102. But if you have it all the way up, look at the difference it makes. Look how faster you feel, and you can see way more, which is the main benefit. So yeah, I would definitely recommend having the FOV in between 102 and 110. Next, sprint view shake. So, oh, I thought I had this on minimal. Definitely want to have this on, oh, it's because I restored to default. Have this on minimal. You want to have it on minimal because the screen just moves less when you run. Next we have audio. This is all personal preference, but with us console players, with the recent addition of cross-platform, when you try to game chat with someone from like if you're on PS4 or PS5 like me, and you try to talk to someone on Xbox, the game chat is basically broken and you'll barely be able to hear them. So what you want to do is turn your PS4 or Xbox volume really high and have the master volume a bit lower. I mean, I normally have it around 50. I'm just having it lower for the recording purposes. I think there's more videos about the game chat stuff online, but yeah, that's just a little tip. And then all of these are personal preference. If you like the music, go for it, but it can get annoying. And disable voice chat, I mean, if you don't like talking to people, turn it on, but I like hearing my teammates in game chat, so I have it off. And this, have it off.
That just about wraps it up. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see a whole other video talking about advanced look controls in the future. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. As always, thanks for watching.